What if I told you that your thoughts aren't just fleeting images in your mind, but building blocks of your reality? For a long time, spirituality has asserted that the mind shapes the world. Today, science proves this is more than a metaphor. It's a fact. Joe Dispenza is one of the most influential voices in this field, uniting neuroscience and spirituality to show that every thought is a seed planted in the realm of reality. The point is simple. What you think, feel, and believe isn't limited to the inside of your head. This information translates into chemistry, energy, and patterns that directly affect your life. And we're not just talking about fleeting emotions, but physical changes in the brain, heart, and even body. The mind literally leaves its mark on biology. What if the pain you feel today is the result of repeated patterns your brain has become accustomed to reinforcing? Likewise, what if the prosperity, health, and transformation you desire are already waiting for you? If only you could teach your mind to create new pathways. This is what science is discovering. We are not prisoners of our thoughts. We are sculptors of reality. Recent research shows that the brain is highly plastic, meaning it reorganizes itself based on repeated experiences. This means that living the same way over and over isn't destiny, but conditioning. The good news is that if the mind can be conditioned to maintain limiting patterns, it can also be reconditioned to create unlimited possibilities. Joe Dispenza calls this breaking the habit of being yourself. When you let go of the old version, built on memories and beliefs, you make room for a new you. This new you doesn't wait for external reality to change to feel different. It feels first, believes first, creates first, and only then sees this reflected in the world around it. In this video, we'll explore the scientific evidence that your mind creates your reality. You'll discover how neuroplasticity explains the power of thoughts, how meditation transforms the brain, how the heart generates a field that impacts your life, and how real-life stories of healing reveal the power of this practice. Get ready. Perhaps today you'll begin to realize that the world you live in is an accurate reflection of the world you build within yourself. Neuroscience has revealed one of the most fascinating discoveries of recent decades. The brain is plastic. This means it's not a rigid structure, doomed to repeat the same patterns forever. On the contrary, it's constantly transforming, reorganizing itself according to each thought, emotion, and experience. This is the scientific basis that explains why your mind can, in fact, create your reality. Every time you think something, a neural circuit is activated. The more you repeat that thought, the stronger that circuit becomes, like a path cleared in a forest. If you constantly think you're incapable, your brain reinforces that pattern until it becomes automatic. This is how limiting beliefs are formed, by the repetition of thoughts that program the mind to believe in scarcity, failure, or inability. Joe Dispenza explains that many people live as prisoners of their own memories. The brain, conditioned by past experiences, creates a predictable reality where nothing new happens. It's like watching the same movie over and over again and expecting the ending to change. Neuroplasticity, however, proves that it's possible to write a new script, creating different connections and opening space for new possibilities. A simple example is learning a skill. When you first start playing the piano, your movements are clumsy, but with constant practice, neurons create solid connections until the skill becomes second nature. Similarly, thoughts of abundance, confidence, and courage, when repeated, build new brain circuits. The mind learns to thrive. Metaphorically, it's like a sculptor shaping the clay of life. Each thought is a tool that refines, corrects, or distorts the final form. If the thoughts are negative, the sculpture will be limited. If they are conscious and positive, the work will become magnificent. Neuroplasticity reminds us that every day we have the chance to reshape our own minds and, consequently, our destiny. But this is only the first scientific proof. If the brain is capable of reorganizing itself, the next step is to understand how simple practices, like meditation, can accelerate this process. And that's exactly what science has been demonstrating. Meditation isn't esotericism, it's brain reprogramming in action. For a long time, meditation was seen solely as a spiritual or philosophical practice. But today, Science proves that meditation is one of the most powerful tools for reprogramming the brain. Studies show that when we meditate regularly, areas related to stress decrease in activity, while regions linked to focus, creativity, and well-being become stronger. Meditation literally changes the structure of the brain. Neuroimaging studies reveal that consistent practice increases the thickness of the prefrontal cortex, responsible for conscious decisions, and reduces the size of the amygdala, linked to fear and anxiety responses. This means that the more you meditate, the more trained your mind becomes to respond calmly, rather than react impulsively. This is scientific proof that we can take control of our internal states. Joe Dispenza explains that meditation is like a bridge between the old you and the new you. When you close your eyes and focus on the present, you leave behind the conditioning of past memories. It's like turning off autopilot and beginning to consciously create new mental pathways. In this state, the mind stops simply reacting and starts choosing what it wants to experience. A practical example is people who have overcome addictions or trauma with meditative techniques. By training their brains to break out of the cycle of fear and anxiety, they created new behavior patterns. Clinical tests showed reductions in stress hormones and increases in markers of well-being. This proves that this isn't mysticism, but applied biology. We can think of meditation as an invisible training of the mind. Just as an athlete strengthens muscles with repeated exercises, those who meditate strengthen neural connections that sustain states of peace, clarity, and focus. The brain becomes more flexible and resilient. The practice, once associated with monks in temples, is now used in hospitals, businesses, and schools around the world. But the effects aren't limited to the brain. Research shows that meditation also affects the heart, creating a state of coherence that impacts not only you but also your surroundings. And it's precisely this connection between mind and heart that brings us to the next point: proof that your entire body vibrates and creates reality. Few people know, but the heart generates the most powerful electromagnetic field in the human body, up to 60 times greater than that of the brain in electrical amplitude. This field expands around us and interacts with the environment, influencing not only ourselves but also the people and situations around us. Joe Dispenza states that heightened emotions transform this field into a magnet for positive experiences. When we feel gratitude, love, or compassion, the heart enters a state called cardiac coherence. In this condition, heartbeats become more harmonious and the entire body functions in sync. Studies show that this state strengthens the immune system, reduces inflammation, and even improves cognitive ability. In other words, feeling heightened emotions is not only pleasurable, it's scientifically transformative. On the other hand, emotions like anger, fear, and resentment create disorder in this field. The heart sends chaotic signals to the brain, which responds with stress, anxiety, and impulsive decisions. This means that your emotions don't just stay within you, but radiate out into an energetic field that shapes your external experience. What vibrates within you vibrates in the world. Metaphorically, the heart acts like an antenna. It transmits the frequency of what you feel and attracts experiences that resonate with that energy. If the antenna is tuned to fear, you attract circumstances that confirm that fear. If it's tuned to love and trust, experiences aligned with that vibration begin to manifest. This is the law of attraction explained by biology. This discovery connects science and spirituality at the same point. What was once seen as mere belief is now proven by frequency measurements and clinical examinations. It's no exaggeration to say that the quality of your life directly depends on the quality of the emotions you cultivate. Your heart doesn't just pump blood, it sends signals that shape realities. And I ask you, have you ever noticed how your life seems to flow better when you maintain elevated emotions? Perhaps a coincidence, perhaps an invisible alignment. Share in the comments if you've experienced something like this, because when we understand the power of the heart, we realize that creating reality isn't just about thinking, it's about feeling. And that's exactly what real stories of transformation prove. What makes Joe Dispenza's studies so impressive are not just the theories, but the practical results documented in thousands of people. In his workshops and retreats, individuals diagnosed with chronic diseases or conditions considered irreversible reported surprising improvements. Medical tests demonstrated reductions in inflammation, pain relief, and even significant changes in laboratory tests. One of the most frequently cited cases is that of people who managed to reduce or eliminate symptoms of autoimmune diseases. This happened when they learned to maintain elevated emotional states and visualize their bodies as already healthy. The brain and heart, in coherence, sent new signals to the immune system, activating healing responses that previously seemed impossible. It wasn't a miracle, it was science in motion. Joe Dispenza describes these results as living proof that body and mind are not separate. When the mind creates images of health and combines them with emotions of gratitude and love, the body responds as if it were already experiencing that reality. It's the power of neuroplasticity and cardiac coherence applied toward healing. Every thought becomes a biological command. These stories aren't limited to physical health. Many participants reported transformations in areas such as prosperity, relationships, and life purpose. By shifting their internal states, external opportunities began to emerge. It was as if the universe responded to the new vibrational frequency. Coincidences multiplied, synchronicities occurred, and life seemed to conspire in favor of those who transformed themselves internally. Critics may call it the placebo effect, but even a placebo is proof of the power of the mind. When someone believes deeply in something, the body responds physically. Dispenza says the goal is not just to prove this exists, but to teach people to use this power consciously. Instead of relying on chance, create results deliberately. And here's the powerful point. If others have been able to heal and transform their lives by changing their mindsets, why can't you? These stories aren't exceptions. They're reminders that potential lies within all of us. But the big question is, how can we apply this in our daily lives in a practical way? This is the next step on our journey. The science is clear. Your mind has the power to create realities. But this power isn't just manifested in books or spiritual retreats. It can be applied in your daily routine. The first step is simple. Visualize. When you wake up, take a few minutes to imagine what you desire as if it were already real. See the details, feel the emotions, create the mental scene clearly. Your brain doesn't distinguish between reality and imagination when the emotion is genuine. The second step is to combine clear thinking with heightened emotion. It's not enough to simply repeat affirmations mechanically. You need to feel the joy, gratitude, or relief as if it had already happened. Joe Dispenza teaches that emotion is the signal that communicates the new reality to the body. Thought is the intention, emotion is the fuel. When the two come together, creation is born. A powerful practice is to set aside 10 to 20-minute cycles a day for this exercise. During this time, close your eyes, slow your breathing, and enter a state of presence. Visualize the desired outcome and immerse yourself in the feeling of already experiencing it. The more vivid the internal experience, the faster your brain and body begin to align with this new identity. There's no shortage of practical examples. Imagining yourself healthy and feeling gratitude for your restored body. Visualizing a financial goal achieved and feeling the tranquility of abundance. Seeing yourself in a harmonious relationship and feeling love before you even find it. The key is to reverse common logic. Don't wait to feel it until it happens, but feel it now to attract it. Metaphorically, it's as if your mind were a laboratory. Every thought is a formula. Every emotion is the reagent that brings the experiment to life. If you mix fear with negative thinking, you create limiting results. If you mix clarity with gratitude, you create expansion. The question isn't whether you're creating, but what you're creating right now. This is the climax of the teaching. Your mind is an active creative field, and you are the scientist responsible for running this laboratory. It's not magic, it's conscious practice. And the more disciplined you are in applying this process daily, the more you will see external changes reflecting what has already changed within you. And this is precisely what brings us to the conclusion of this journey. Throughout this journey, we've seen that thoughts aren't neutral. They leave marks on the brain, the body, and even the energy field we radiate. Neuroplasticity has shown that the mind can be reshaped. Meditation has proven that internal states can be trained, and the heart has revealed that elevated emotions create coherence capable of transforming everything around us. The evidence is clear. The mind doesn't just interpret the world, it creates it. Each reinforced limiting belief shapes a limited reality. Each thought of abundance opens new possibilities. The brain learns, the body responds, and life reflects. You are not trapped in the past. You are creating, moment by moment, the present and the future. Real stories of transformation reinforce that this power isn't just a far-fetched theory. People have cured illnesses, rebuilt their lives, and attracted new opportunities by changing their feelings and thoughts. The difference between them and those who remain stuck in painful patterns isn't a special talent, but the decision to apply these principles every day. Joe Dispenza sums it up in one sentence. You don't wait for the new reality to feel. You feel it first to create the new reality. This reversal is key. Life doesn't change when something external happens. It changes when you change within yourself. The external is only a consequence of the internal. The true miracle is realizing that it was always in your hands. Now the choice is yours. Continue repeating the same patterns or take on the role of scientist of your own mind. Visualize, feel, and repeat until the new becomes natural. This practice doesn't require perfection, but consistency. Each day is a new opportunity to reinforce the reality you want to live. And I ask you, what reality do you want to create starting today? Write in the comments, because your answer could be the first step not only toward your own transformation, but also toward inspiring someone seeking change. Ultimately, your mind is the brush, your life is the canvas, and the masterpiece is just beginning to be painted.